speaking of loud, draft talk is loud right now, and people are making moves. Tone Diggs has a question for you, Lombo.
Yeah, Lombo, I got a question about the Vikings. They get the second first-round pick from the Texans. I think it's 11 and 23. And now basically 100% of everyone thinks that they're going to package those to move up. It's in every mock draft. Everyone's talking about it. So as a competitive GM, say you're in the top 5, like, do you add, some vig on top of that, knowing that the Vikings want to move up so bad? Like, I assume it's not just a normal, like, 11 and 23 for, like, you're gonna juice that up a little bit. And how does that work? And is there even any trade partners up there?
Well, I think there's, as you're going through this, next week there'll be the owners' meetings. There'll be a lot of talk about that. Could we move up? And what you're trying to do is get somebody to pay more than the chart, right? That's what Chicago was able to do last year with moving up when they gave Bryce Young to Carolina. That they paid way more than what the price of the chart said. And the only way you get that done, and the only way you're going to do a deal now before the day of the draft, is when you get something really good above the chart. So if Minnesota has that in mind, I think Minnesota's still in the collective data point where they're trying to go through all these quarterbacks and decide, which one do we want, where do we need to go to get them, and how this is all going to work out. And where we see this thing, not where the mock drafts see it happening. And so I think Minnesota's had a really good offseason. And I think there's more to come from Minnesota of what they're going to do. I think they've reconfigured their team defensively. I think they've improved. And I think if they get this quarterback on their team, whichever one they think they like to go with Kevin O'Connell, they have a chance to close that gap that Green Bay and Detroit have kind of put in place because of their ability, because of Love's ability and the way the Lions have played the last year.
Well, Chicago's cooking. We're hearing, and we'll ask you about that here in a matter of seconds. We're hearing they like Drake May. Does that mean they don't like Drake May? Probably.
Yeah. I can't imagine anybody in the building would say who they like and who they don't like. I think what you have to do is look at the quarterback and ask yourself, based on the style of play and based on what Kevin O'Connell's been raised in and the system he's been in, which player fits that system the best? Who can have rhythm with their feet, rhythm with their arm? Because if you study Kirk Cousins, everything Kirk does is with his feet, right? Everything is about his feet are tied to his arm and where he throws the football. It's so important. Walsh wanted always to have that. That's why, when Walsh would look for a player, it was all about his lower body more than his upper body. So I think that's the same thing that O'Connell and all those guys from that Shanahan, McVay system, they all want. J.J. McCarthy would be the kind of guy that would fit that to me. May has got a chance to be that player. I think he's going to have to prove himself to be more consistent in terms of his mechanical ability and his ability to control the football, right? I think that's the key thing. Can his accuracy improve to the level that you need it to improve to, which with fundamentals and technique, that's obviously going to take its place.
Well, they got Sam Darnold at $10 million. Maybe he just plays for a year. Drake May is able to tighten up under the coaching of Kevin O'Connell, who's obviously proven to be a great coach with any quarterback.
Of course.
And who's quarterback coach over there?
Is that Joshua McCown?
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah. Oh, Josh McCown with the good hair.
Yes.
The good ass hair.
And good jawline.
And a great basketball highlight.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. And he played quarterback a long time. He coached high school football before?
He did, I think, for like a year or two.
Who'd he coach?
Yeah.
Oh, Drake May, actually.
Whoa!
Interesting.
The Minnesota Vikings hired Drake May's high school football coach this offseason to be their quarterback coach?
Yeah.
Wait a minute.
Wow.
Start reading the tea leaves, Lombo. Take it to the Lombardi line.
That's where you're getting it from, right? And so look, one of the hardest things to do is to really understand these, especially at quarterbacks. What have we seen now since 2021? There's only been 2 quarterbacks that are going to start next year in the National Football League. It'll be Trevor Lawrence and Brock Purdy. There have been 19 guys drafted over that time. And a lot of it is you got to get to know the player in terms of off the field, his mechanics, his ability, his mental makeup. Obviously, Josh will know Drake May, but May's got all those things, those boxes checked. I think, look, the hardest thing about this is you got to project the player forward. If we're just grading production, anybody can grade production. It's about grading the player moving forward, right? And that's what Kansas City did a wonderful job with Mahomes. That's what the Saints want, what Sean Payton was going to do, the same thing. He was trying to trade up to get Mahomes. It's not, you don't grade production on the quarterback. You've got to grade what you project them to become. And that's the hard thing. Everybody just goes off of the production. That's not necessarily the case.
I think all the guys that we consider GOATs outside of Peyton, who's running a hell of a business right
Yes,
now.
he is.
Crushing.
This new receivers thing that's coming out,
Man,
it's going to be great.
Yeah.
so good.
Full Court Press, the women's college basketball documentary that Omaha's putting out, it's going to be great. But aside from Peyton, Tom Brady backed up Drew. Aaron Rodgers backed up Brett. Patrick Mahomes backed up Alex Smith. It's like all the guys that we are heralding as the recent history GOATs, it's like take a year. Try to learn how the NFL is. I assume you're getting better at technique. You're diving into what the day-to-day is as a professional athlete. Not that Patrick Mahomes didn't know because he grew up in the entire thing, but like just watching somebody else do the job that you're about to do, especially for these guys that are cerebral, mental reps guys, you're watching what works, what doesn't work. If you can have that patience, it'll seemingly help. The Vikings have an opportunity now with them paying Sam Darnold $10 million. That's an expectation that Sam's going to play at least a little bit. Now, is it a full season? Is it a few games that you need to who cares? At least you're getting a time to maybe rest somebody. I like what the Vikings are doing as well.